Can anyone hear me? Now?
That one.
Can we get a W in the chat? Can we get a W in the chat?
Okay, thank God.
If you can
What
hear
the fuck?
Jordan.
The internet chose violence today. Hi, everybody. So, W in the chat, thank you for that. Thank you, Cass, for putting up with the shenanigans. I am actually going to turn it over to our castmates because I believe some of them have some announcements to make before we get into our episode. So let's start with April.
Hi! I went to unmute myself and realized this is not a different microphone. I'm April. You can find me all over the internet as April Raygun. I forgot what I was going to announce. I'm announcing on Wednesdays. If you didn't already see Fantastic Kings and Where to Find Them, we had our finale. Surprise, we're not done yet. We decided to keep playing with each other. So, Fantastic Kings and Where to Find Them, the prologue for Misfits of Altea ended on Wednesday. We're taking this week off, but starting March 1st, we're going to be back for a long-term campaign with Hope Lavelle as our DM. We're having a wonderful time, so please check out That's How We Roll for more information about that.
Awesome. And it's a really amazing show. You should go check it out. All right. And then we have Fair.
Hi, it's me, Fair. Words. I'm here to announce it's not a TTRPG show, but I have a friend who runs a text-based RP on Discord. It's called Lone Pine University. We're already in season 2, and it takes place in an isolated hamlet in Iceland. It's a horror-based RPG where you can either play like a professor or a student at this university. It's like slasher, based on like slasher films from the 80s. So, but also based on Midsommar, because the person who runs it, I made them watch Midsommar and they got inspired. I have a little blurb, so I'm going to read it and hope that I don't stumble through it because I'm bad at reading out loud. Lone Pine University, season 2 has Lone Pine University moving to an isolated hamlet in Iceland. It's an institution mentioned in the same breath as Harvard, the University of Tokyo, and Oxford. The town has an incredibly high rate of births, but also a significantly higher than average rate of murders, the victims of which show signs of ritualized torture and clear intent of human sacrifice. There's something dark lurking in the shadows of the university, and it only seems to be growing more powerful with each subsequent body discovered. The beginning of winter quarter starts with the grisly discovery of a burned-up biology lab containing the mutilated corpses of a graduate class and their professor, along with a cryptic and ominous warning about the end of days. So, if this interests you, you can go to lonepine.tumblr.com to submit an application. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's like weekly events for like everybody to participate in that like move the plot along, but you can also like RP with other people who are in the server and stuff and like form connections and whatnot. It's very interesting. I'm in it, but I'm under a different name, so you won't know it's me. But it's a lot of fun. It's basically become my brain rot lately, so you should check it out. And I'll put the URL in the chat.
Perfect. That does sound really cool, Fair. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then also, don't you and Sin have Delta Green? Isn't the finale next week?
There is a thing next week. I don't know if it's the finale.
Okay.
It is not.
I don't really know.
I thought I heard Waffles and Syrup teasing that it might be the final episode, so that's why I was like, oh, okay.
I have to be honest, and this is not like I don't know like when it's going to end, just because like they had planned for like I think 8 episodes or something, and the rest of us were like, we don't really care how long this takes, so like, whatever. So maybe not. I think it kind of depends on whether or not we fuck around.
What we absolutely can say for sure, though, is that our last episode ended up with us in a very questionable situation. And by questionable, we mean unconscious. So we'll see how this episode goes.
It'll be fine. So that's on Tuesday at what time?
8 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you. On Waffles Maple
8:15. Well, it is And you know what? And your dice agreed with me, didn't they?
Shit. Amazing. Thank you, everyone. A couple quick more announcements before we get started. Quick reminder that we are sponsored, that's the word, by Tabletop Loot and Devon Rue. So you can go and check out their website. There's a bunch of dice. They're doing some dice boxes. I actually just got a birthday box from Devon that I'll be doing an unboxing for later this week. With some goodies that you can go and pick up for the dice lover in your life. And
keep in mind, there's also a special set of dice that are only available for the month of February. In celebration of Devon themselves.
That's very true, because we are birthday month buddies. They also have a program called the Gift of Knowledge, where you can actually buy a set of dice and it'll be donated to youth and library resources for those that are just getting into tabletop. So you can be the origin story of somebody's experience into tabletop. So stop it, April. I'm having a hard time with words today. It's fine.
No, I was gonna say I'm only people's villain's origin story. I'm never someone's hero story.
Let's see. You can also check out our Patreon. If you want to get all the latest news updates, we have revamped some things, including, hey, if you want to make an NPC that the party may or may not have to interact with, you can do that by joining our Patreon. We are actually 4 patrons away from reaching our first goal, which will be an all-familiar one-shot, because this entire cast has at least one familiar. Someone has 2. So, it's fine. So we'll do a thing with that. And then if we hit 15 patrons on our Patreon, Fair has volunteered to DM a one-shot of some sort. So, you want to make that happen so we can watch the amazingness that is Fair. Special quick thank you to our current patrons, Sphinx 7, Mama Strange, Fluffy Snowfall, our newest one, Chris Gideon, and Buzz Lightyear. Thank you so much for your support. As a heads up, the next couple weeks of Ampistrano is going to be a little bit hectic. Next week's my birthday, so I'm going to be off and taking some time to just kind of relax a little bit. So no Ampistrano next week. We will be back on Saturday, March 4th for our 20th episode. Then the following week, we're going to be off for Games for Change, which is a time where we work to signal boost incredible organizations that are making a difference in this space. This year, we are focusing on Stop AAPI Hate. So it's going to be a weekend of TTRPGs and fun from Thursday, March 9th to Sunday, March 12th. Then we'll be back on March 18th and we'll be having a guest. So it'll be great. And then we'll be back to our normal scheduled shenanigans. And this just in, I'm getting word from the Veil that if we were to hit 20 patrons on our Patreon, that Fluffy Snowfall will DM a one-shot. Fluffy's phenomenal, so we got some goals happening here. But yeah, that's it for announcements. Anything else before we dive into this episode? Nope. All right. And without further ado, let us go beyond the veil of Ampistrano. welcome back. So, where we last left our adventurers, they were decompressing for 2 weeks after the events at Lyros. Cal responded to a message from his mother, letting her know not to worry, and that he'd be staying with the group as they explored Ampistrano. Blackstone and Toby made cheesecake and discussed Blackstone's past, the mysterious visions that had been plaguing them, as well as questioning where the creator may be. Blackstone used their telepathy to show Toby the image of an elven woman shrouded in mystery, even having another vision of her that evening. Deodora and Aurea pored over maps to chart the course to Vibran, making sure that they are taking the best of the routes. On a rainy morning, the group headed to Astera to meet with a tired Deidre down in the dungeons. Greenwich was found to be in their altered form still. The group soon realized that they were losing Greenwich, that spark of humanity and spirit being lost into the void. An impromptu ceremony was enacted, rejuvenating Greenwich slightly, bringing her back and tying her to this space. Knowledge was shared that Pithyweather had been a kind and dear friend until going into the wetlands, where her correspondence had chilled with Deidre. Deidre asked the party to search for her old friend from her adventuring days, Weldor, who had been reported as being one of the missing in Vibran. With the ceremony completed and information shared, she ushered you out of the dungeon and back into the friendly confines of Astera. And that is where we pick up for today. Footsteps echo across the stone stairs as you ascend upwards. Every now and then, thunder claps from outside, reverberating against the stonework. Until, after several minutes, you find yourselves in front of the guarded door at Deidre's office. She turns towards all of you, still looking just as, if not even more, tired. A slight smile on her lips as she pulls out of her satchel a small coin purse. You know this to be the payment that she is offered, at least the down payment, for the assistance with running this errand. Well, I do appreciate it again. Is there anything else that you need from me?
One thing might be helpful, and I'm sorry I didn't ask earlier, but what does your friend look like?
You see the whispers of a smile kind of gracing her face. Weldor, he's a little bit hard to miss. He's a turtle cleric. And you see she kind of measures. How tall are you, Blackstone? How tall are you?
Oh, that's a question you were asking
sorry.
me.
Sorry.
How tall is Blackstone, actually?
I know Aurea is the tallest. We've established that,
fair.
yes. Winning at the...
I think Aurea, I said like 6'2", 6'3"
Okay.
for Aurea.
So Blackstone is 5'9".
Okay. You see for a moment, Deidre kind of steps forward, kind of arm raised a little bit, and you find that she's kind of slowly measuring it up to each of you. For you, Aurea, it's way low, at least a foot lower than you. Blackstone, it's a couple of inches. And Deodora, how tall are you?
I'm the shortest. I think I'm like 5'5" or some shit like that.
Okay, even shorter than you, Deodora, right around the 5 foot range. Looking at that, yeah, you can't miss him. He has a kind of set up a tea shop in the middle of a tavern. I don't know if he ever actually got permission for that, but the tavern keepers at least hasn't over the years had any issue So he does have a portion of the tavern is kind of a tea shop, which is known as Your Rest is Earned. He's also known for creating his own teas and has a specific brand called Hope in Nature. Actually, if you wouldn't mind picking me one up, that would be great because my supply is low on top of that. And you see she kind of pulls out another 10 gold to assist with that.
I was about to ask if she has do you have pick me up some money?
Yeah, she does. She knows. She was an adventurer. She knows. And she does kind of quickly drop that into whoever is grabbing the pouch from her. He follows one of the life gods that are out there. I believe it is Chaosum, and I'll send you the spelling for that later. She's known to be life, but also tied with nature. So it's no wonder that he decided to settle into the wetlands. But it's the only tavern in town, so you can't really miss it. And he's usually carrying around a teapot, like tea kettle.
Player question: did you really just describe a whole tonberry basically with a turtle shell on it? Because I feel like that's what's happening here. But
No, that was just
Don't
my
fight
ADHD
it.
fighting all over the place and trying to get to your question again. But no. But that would be Weldor.
Okay.
Okay, well, I think we should get our things and maybe get going.
All right. If you need anything, and she kind of looks at you, Blackstone, and kind of just ushers slightly to her head a couple times. You know how to reach me.
Will do. But hopefully it'll be for pleasant things like, finding the tea that you were looking for, maybe.
Hopefully. And I will try to keep you all informed on things here as well. So, especially if we get any more information about what possibly Pithy Weather was hiding. So, all right. Yes.
Sorry, do you want us to send that information to you? If we find anything, should we just send it in a letter? Or, I guess they have magical means.
Magical means would be fine. Honestly, if you're
How careful
able
do we
it's
need to
fine.
be?
I
That's
would
more
be-
than I'm trying to get at.
I think that's an excellent question. I would go on the side of being careful. Taking an
Okay.
extra thought about what you decide to put pen to paper.
Or is it look at Blackstone? So you need to be the one who does this then. You or Cal.
I will do my best to be of assistance.
Thank you. Out loud.
She kind of is looking through all of you, and you see her face just softens for a moment, the tiredness giving away, and her eyes brighten slightly. Thank you all. I know this is a lot to ask for, and I appreciate it very much.
I mean, it's
Well-
no problem helping.
For my part, you are quite welcome. I would say, in some ways, it's repayment in kind. So, there's that.
Oh, and she reaches into her satchel one more time, pulling out what appears to be a brass key. And she looks between all of you. I'm going to give this to Aurea. You're going to need to cloak at least your place of living here, assuming that you don't want others to perhaps take a look into your cottage. I'm sure you know the way to hide it. being a fairy.
In my pocket?
Sure.
Ori looks really confused, as if she should know something that she doesn't know.
Deodora also looks very confused.
Ori looks at Deodora and like puts it in her pocket.
You have a cottage?
The cottage you all have been staying in.
Do I know that the key... Wait, can I get a
Oh.
sense of whether or not the key is magical?
You can, yeah.
Can I assist? I put it in my mouth. I bet it.
Is a real
You don't
goal.
even roll
Let's see.
perception. I was gonna say, yeah, like you passive perception, yes.
That was going to be... That's a 24 on Arcana.
Okay.
Because I wanted to know,
Yes,
like,
it's magical.
what's going on here.
Actually, what happens in that moment, all three of you will get this kind of image of, it seems almost like it's a flashback, because it's kind of sepia tone. It's a memory of Deidre going into the forest by a cottage and raising the brass key, and you see this kind of spectral field sphere starting to overtake around a cottage, basically hiding it in plain sight.
Oh, okay.
Don't lose that key.
Does this only work on the one cottage, or does it work on any cottage?
This will only work on your place of living at that time. So you can use it on where you are staying, but just keep in mind that if you had used it prior, then that the usage
What if I'm
is
living
going
in
to
a
move.
box?
On a box?
Would it work on anything? If I think it's my home, would it work on it?
I mean, there's one way of trying that out. I haven't personally tried it.
Excellent. I have an idea. She's gonna put it in her pocket again.
Okay, this makes more sense to me. I, as a player, was like, is this like a Leomund's tiny hut situation or like a
No.
Magnificent Mansion situation? But now I understand it's just this like a cloaking mechanism.
Yep. It's
No, but as long as we
okay.
build a door on something, and I believe it's my home, it might work, and we're invisible.
Oh my god,
It's
just
basically
carrying
just
around a
making
door
sure
on your
y'all are
fucking
locking
back.
that y'all are locking that door as you're leaving. So if you choose to leave any items in that cottage that the university has kind of given to you for the time
Oh.
being, that no one will go into it. Yes.
Sorry, would it work on other things then? Like if we go to another house and use that key? That's what I was trying to get at.
Yes. And
Okay.
both Deidre and I are saying you can certainly try, but just keep in mind
Okay.
it's going to probably remove whatever cloak.
Oh, that's fine.
You would
It
use
only works on one
previously.
location. I get that.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
So I'll send you the info for that at break. But yes. Okay. Anything else?
I think you see Deodora's like has been slowly creeping towards the door as she usually does when she's like, I don't have anything else to offer. Y'all are talking magic stuff. I don't know this. I'm ready to
I
go.
don't do this really.
I don't do reading and I don't do magic shit. Okay, so you lost me.
Valid. And she will kind of look at all of you one by one, eyeing you with a slight smile on her face. Deodora, as you are very sneakily, subtly moving towards the door.
Just slowly trying to Irish goodbye this situation.
She kind of just gives you all a nod and good luck.
We'll need it. Maybe.
And she'll turn around where the two guards are still stationed and then head into her office, leaving you in the hallway of Astera.
Well, then I suppose we have a trip to prepare for, so... I suppose we should collect the others and get ourselves moving, unless we have other things we want to do in town.
We do not! We should leave! We are good to go. I have all my stuff.
Oh, I do want to just say bye to Gregory real quick, but that won't take very long. It won't take very long. I'm not having a conversation. I'm just saying
Oria
bye.
like half flying, just like collapses in the air.
I think he's on the way out of town. It's fine. It's on the way. We're not making a pit stop. It's
Fine,
literally
whatever you want to do.
He's literally down the street from here. It's fine.
And like she just kind of like toddler crashes into the ground gently.
Oh my god. Listen. If we stay in this town because of me, I give you permission to end my life.
Pops right back up. Understood.
Okay. Fucking dramatic. I like to think like when you collapse like kind of like towards your front and like your wings are fluttering to keep you hovered off the ground.
It's
I'm
an
like an
anime
inch off
fall
the
with
ground.
like twitching and
No disregard to the fact that this is a busy campus, that this is a busy hallway, and everyone's in way.
You are that person at the grocery store who stops in the middle of the fucking aisle and doesn't and can't get anybody else can get past them. It's like
I have to read the ingredients.
With a full cart in the middle of the aisle. That's you.
I would like to speak to the manager, please.
I've been moving people's cars. I don't give a shit. Move your shit.
All right. So where are you all going now?
I'd say to the cottage first, at least. We can't leave our, people have left there, as I'm assuming anyway, unless you, brought them to the school. You have, familiars to go and collect and things.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Sparky is at my side always, so I don't know what y'all do with your familiars, but he is with me.
Oria 100% had all her stuff ready to go.
Yeah.
She was like, we were leaving. It was so
Theodora, more or less, you probably noticed this, she usually has all of her shit with her, and, the times that she hasn't had all her shit with her, she talked about going back to get all her stuff. So.
That's valid. Okay. So we'll say them for the sake of brevity, because we're going to time skip a little bit. Over the next couple of hours, you're able to get your items, your familiars. Oria, do you cloak the cottage or do you leave it as is?
No, she locks the door.
Okay. All right. And you see it kind of disappearing into the forest around you. Rain is still falling.
Is the rain hitting it? Or does the rain go through?
It goes through.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Very much is cloaked.
I'm going to walk full speed into it.
You hit a wall.
Not rain. Got it. Turns around and walks away.
And you all, because of where Astera is, it's on the northeast side of the city, and where you all are going, you're going to have to go slightly south and then move west. So, you are going to have to move through the city. With that being said, you all are able to, since you all had pinged me that you wanted to get some supplies, you head over to Patchworks, Baubles, and Ends, meeting Patch himself, an elderly dwarf with a long silver beard and a bald head, wearing robes of red and silver. He is able to sell you those health potions you requested, as well as the bag of holding. So just keep that in mind for whoever is keeping track of the party funds of that. But you are able to pick that up. We don't have an exclamation point leaving command fair.
No, I'm reading Fluffy's thing. Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
Girl.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see it.
Bye.
Anyways,
because we're never leaving. That's why there's no command.
Nope, it's happening.
I'm about to spitefully make a command after this game. After this
valid.
session.
Not making a command out of spite, please.
Oh, Lord.
That's the only reason to make commands on any channel. It's out of spite.
As you are moving through Ilopan, not many people are out in the streets just because it's still pretty much pouring at this point. We're moving into the early afternoon, but Theodora, you do get it's on the scent on the rain. You can smell that Gregory is nearby as you are slowly heading out of town.
No, his scent. Oh.
Oh my god, don't even start. I know you're sent too, okay?
Cue
Ooh, you know my scent.
Oh
Ooh.
my
Cue
god.
careless whispers happening in the background.
Oh my god. I think I'll like lope in that direction. And see if I can like not that I'm very stealthy, but I do want to try to sneak up on
Okay. Why don't you roll stealth?
him. Okay, with my disadvantage. Oh, I got an 18 and 19 on the die. That's 17.
Okay.
Or that's 19 total.
You see him kind of off the street, kind of standing underneath a not necessarily a tent, but like an outcropping from one of the merchant shops, and is clearly taking notes of something. Like he's got his notebook out and a quill, and he's just jotting down some things as he's just kind of looking at the relatively empty square. He does not seem to notice you. His back is currently towards you. Because I rolled a 1. So
You rolled a 1.
I rolled a 1. So
Okay. So I'm just gonna like creep up on him and like I was gonna say I'll look over his shoulder, but I feel like he's taller than me. So I'll like look around him just to see what he's like writing, like what he's looking at.
okay. So you see in his little book that he's kind of writing in, it seems like he's drawing several flowers, like along the side of the parchment. He's got like one of those little like travel journals, think about, like that you get in shops.
He has a moleskin.
And then it seems like he's writing some kind of words down, but while you're not able to read the words, they're very short sentences in lines of like 4 at a time.
You should be on your guard more.
The fuck? Like you see him immediately jump, and the small journal that he is holding quickly falls into the mud next to his feet.
Can I try to catch it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or have Sparky catch it?
Sure. Go ahead and do an animal handling then.
Animal hand? Okay.
Yep. Because you're having Sparky do this.
Oh, I thought it would be like maybe like a dex check or something. But I don't know why I just rolled with advantage. Hold on. I just grabbed 2 die. That's a crit.
Okay. Sparky is able to quickly
Sparky blinks over and grabs it before it can hit the mud.
quickly grabs it, and you see the expression of like relief and then slight horror across Gregory's face as Sparky moves to hand over the notebook over to you.
Oh, I take it from Sparky and then I can't fucking read. I hand it back to Gregory.
Gregory doesn't know this, so
He doesn't?
No.
I'm pretty vocal about it. I think this is yours.
Thanks. You're a cutie as he's kind of puts his hand out towards Sparky, the little blink dog that literally is just kind of almost hopping into puddles and blinking in and out of existence in the space.
Oh my god, so cute. Can we say I stopped to get him some rain boots on the way out?
Sure.
Yes, thank you. And a little raincoat. He needs it.
Yep, that'll cost you 1 gold, but you can get a little like rain slacker and boots
Yes,
for
bitch.
him. Like,
Oh my god, so cute. I'm gonna cry. It's so cute. Yeah, he's just splashing in the puddles in his raincoat and slicker.
oh, he's literally like, if you've seen Fantasia when the Pegasus are going in and out of the fountains and popping up another, that's literally what it looks like. He's just
Oh my God.
popping in and out.
Yeah, that's Sparky.
He's adorable.
Thank you.
Thanks for catching this and for spooking the shit out of me.
Didn't mean to, but you know, gotta keep you on your guard somehow.
That's true. That's very true.
I just came by to say thank you for your help and see you around. We're leaving the city today.
Oh. First off, not a problem. Always happy to assist. I'm glad you and your friends are okay. And actually, I should be thanking you, because Well, I'm not having to leave right away. Grandpa wants me to look into what was going on with the Crown's guards here that were siding with the professor. So, I've got my work cut out for me. So, I'll be here at least for a bit. But, where are you headed?
Vibrant?
The wetlands.
Mm-hmm. There are some people who are going missing there, so we're gonna check it out, and Deidre asked us to check in on a friend of hers too.
Well, be careful. If there's anything I can do to help, I'm gonna be here, but, and you kind of see him, like, he's kind of, like, kicking the mud a little bit, like, looking down, and, like, if there's just, anything I can kind of do to help out,
Oh. I, as a player, I'm like, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't fucking know. Flirting, what is that? Oh. Well, yeah, since we're leaving here, I think it would be nice if you could help Deidre. She's investigating the stuff as well with the Crown's Guard and Pittyweather. But if we have need of you elsewhere, we can send a message.
Sure.
I can have Cal write a message to you.
That would be perfect. Not a problem. And you see, like, his face lightens up slightly. Still kind of that professional, like, military aspect, but there's, hints of a smile underneath kind of the rain as it's kind of settling in around him. Yeah, anything I can do to help. And if I hear anything too, I'll try to see if I can pass it along. So,
Yeah.
But good luck. And he's like wiping the mud off of, or the little specks of rain off of his book, and sparky drool, onto the side. Yeah, good luck then.
Thank you, and it was good to see you again.
It's good to see you.
I walk away awkwardly. I don't know. I don't know, maybe clap him on the shoulder. I don't know how to end this.
You just hear the breath like escape him, like, yeah, good to see you too.
Oh, sorry. I'll work on that.
That's okay, I gotta work on it on my end. As he kind of gives you a slow little half wave. Like, he does the thing of, like, wave and then thinks about it and, like, quickly lowers his hand.
I'll wave, like, whatever.
Yep.
And I'll say, like, as I'm walking away, I'll say, oh, tell your grandfather I said hi.
I will. He's been asking about you, so I will definitely pass that along.
Great.
And
yeah, I'll just kind of jog back to the group. April's laughing at me because I'm like, I don't know what to do here.
and you
I'd be in the
leave him-
same spot if I were you, so don't feel bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, same. And you see he kind of watches you walk away for a little bit. You can kind of see it out of your periph as you're walking away. And then, like, there's just a wry kind of smile on his face, and he goes back to writing in his book. Although seemingly a little bit more observant, as you see he starts kind of looking around a bit more.
So, just so I, as a player, know, was he writing a poem?
He was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was writing. He's a poet. It's fine.
God, part of me is like, why did I make this bitch unable to read? I want to know what it says. But it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, he was writing.
I love that though.
Little
It's a sonnet dedicated to Deodora.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
Who knows?
and maybe it is. She will never know. And I like how he, like, I think it's funny that he doesn't know that she doesn't know how to read. Because she's like, I don't, take your fucking book. This has nothing to do with me.
Fluffy?
I mean, that is correct, though.
I will
Fluffy.
read that for the benefit of our YouTube watchers. Fluffy says, roses are red, violets are blue. Deodora's ass don't quit. Of this is true. So,
It is true.
it's very true. Okay. And like I said, you have your stuff from the cottage, you have your supplies, unless there's anything else you want to pick up. Cal and Toby are following behind just quietly. Cal is very in his book. And Toby just seems to be quiet, just looking around the city. You can gather from previous conversations, Toby's probably just trying to memorize everything, the smells and sights, being that this is their first time leaving Ilopan. So just trying to, take in everything. So they're a little bit more nostalgic.
I think we absolutely have Cal just like on a rope like a toddler because he's just in his book and he's gonna run into shit if we're not paying attention. So it's like we have him on a child leash.
I love it.
Not you walking him on a harness.
And you know what? Finn's not here to debate this with me or say anything about it, so it's true now. It's just canon.
Jesus. All right. So,
Like one of the kids with like the little teddy bear on it, so it doesn't look like a little baby leash.
Yeah, but like the clicks are behind him and on his back, so he can't take it off.
I love this. This is great. I foresee nothing wrong with this. Okay. So, is there anything else you wish to do before you finally get out of Ilopan? All right. So, it's a little afternoon as you head down the Huntfell Road westward towards the Jinora Wetlands. The rain still falling in smatterings, pinging off of Deodora's armor and seemingly setting the tempo of your journey. The well-packed dirt is now a muddy mess on the 10-foot roadway. However, it gives you a clear path forward. No one else is traversing it at this time, as lush green fields of grass sway in the wind, moving in waves. In the distance, you can see outcroppings of hills and patches of trees and wooded areas. The midday air is slightly warmer, but still has a bite of the fall behind it. You travel for about an hour. Why don't one of you make a dex check? Because you're moving through the mud to see how well you're moving.
Who wants to do
I
it?
feel like first of all, not me.
Do I have to do it?
No.
If I'm not touching the ground?
Or it doesn't have to, but you're setting, you're basically, this skill check is to see how well the group is moving overall.
Oh.
Okay.
You said it's what is it?
Just a dex check.
Oh, dex check?
Mhm.
18.
Okay. All right. You all are making some good pace. Maybe it's because all of you were really wanting to get out of this city and are excited at the open road, and that's giving you a little bit more of pep in your step.
I druid crafted some Totoro style umbrellas for everyone to help with the rain. As I'm
That's
flying,
so
I'm just like,
cute.
one for you, one for you.
That's adorable.
Takes a
Is it
while
made
because
of-
it's a big thing.
Just big old leaves. Is
Yeah.
that what you mean? Like,
Yeah,
oh my God, I
leaves tied
fucking
together
love
with
that.
twine
Yes.
and sticks to kind of help out with keeping out the rain. Okay.
Yeah, because I bought a rain slicker and rain boots for my familiar, but I bought nothing for myself.
What color are the rain boots and slicker?
Oh my God, they're a cute little yellow,
Yellow and
just
with red
standard.
boots.
Yeah,
Oh,
like padding, like a
yeah,
Paddington.
Paddington Bear.
I went a different direction with that,
Where did you?
and
Where
we
did
all
you
float
go?
down here. We all float down here.
Oh,
Oh
geez.
fuck! You know what? You're right.
Hey, Georgie, how you doing?
Oh God,
Hey,
no.
Georgie.
No.
Time to float.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna call your
Those are
familiar
the-
Georgie.
Okay, out of character. Those are the funniest fucking movies I've ever. I watched those.
Those
when
are
I was
funny.
because they're
Those
so
movies are
bad.
great.
All right. You all continue for the next several hours. The rain kind of increasing and then kind of dissipating every so often as you move along the muddy path. The hills rise and move around you as you continue your journey. Before, even in the overcast sky, you can tell it's starting to get into early evening, late afternoon, and probably looking like it might be time to take camp. You've been walking now at this point for about 5 or 6 hours, taking short rests along the way.
Well, should we stop then? This seems like a good enough spot. Or do we see a good enough spot to rest? What do we see around us?
You see that there are some small clusters of trees. Aurea, I would say specifically, since you have the you're flying, so you have a bit, you have a little bit of an advantage. You see a small cluster of 4 or 5 trees that are off the road a bit, through the tall grasses. They're about 200 feet off the road. That do seem like at least they would give you the most coverage.
There's some trees this way. Do you want to try to go there?
Yeah, sure, and then we can set up camp.
Well, if this is where we're thinking about setting up camp, then I pick a nearby tree and I would like to attempt to climb the tree.
So you're leaving the road to go towards the trees because the trees are off the road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How far off the road are they?
It's about 200 feet.
Oh, okay, so that's fine. Sure.
Only take you a couple minutes to move through the muck to get there. But yeah, if you want to climb the tree, go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
That is a 23 on acrobatics.
Okay, not a problem. You are able to climb up the tree. The tree itself, this is a cluster of redwood trees that are kind of in this area. There's some bushes and then tall grasses surrounding it, but the tree itself goes up about 50-60 feet. So how high are you climbing?
No, I'm going to climb the entire tree.
Okay, so all right.
Like the idea is I want to climb up high enough to get this is like the area that we're in and how far we are away from things and where things are, and I want to get as good a vantage point as I possibly can for that.
Sure. Okay.
And it's a redwood, so this is probably one of the taller trees in the forest, which makes it really good for seeing things.
Yes, you would 100% be correct with that. Especially since the majority of the area is very hilly and tall grass, and then the road. You can see from your vantage point up at the top of the tree. Ilopan is, you all have moved several miles, but you're walking and you're moving through mud, so the trekking is taking a little bit slower to do. But you have made a fair bit of progress. You can tell at this point you are about halfway between Ilopan and then the actual start of the Ajora forest. Probably another half a day's journey, if not full, depending on how the road is. But all around you is just hills and those little outcroppings and tall grass. You don't see anyone else on the road either. Every now and then you do see that there is a isolated cottage with a little bit of light in it. People that live out here, there's farmland. You see several bison are kind of moving through the tall grasses and stuff. So you are out there. You're in farmland right now, but you're out there.
How far are we from the farms and the bison?
So the closest farm is about 2 or 3 miles.
Okay.
So you're in a pretty isolated spot.
How far up did you say we were?
You mean the tree?
Yeah.
The tree itself is about 50-60 feet.
Okay. So what I do at that point is, something. I am going to, can we just throw some lore in here? I think I can. And we should. So, what I do, if that's as tall as the tree is and we get a good lay of the land up here, I'm going to take a bit of rope out of my backpack and tie it to the branch that I'm on and use it to climb back down the tree.
Okay. You can certainly do that. Why don't you make either sleight of hand or another dex check to see how well you tie the rope off. And I'll give you advantage based upon your background.
Okay. And you said you needed
Either basic dex check or sleight of hand.
Okay, we'll go with sleight of hand. That is a 22.
22. It's holding. It's not one of your better knots, but it's one of your more utilized one that you know you can quickly untie if need be.
And so, like, you'll just basically see me, like, steadily hopping down the tree. They're like 10-foot jumps at a time until I get to the end of the rope. They're
Sure.
like, what, like 10 feet of, like, distance left to the ground.
Sure. As that is happening, Aurea and Deodora, what are you doing? As you see Blackstone just taking off up a tree.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Aurea looks up. Okay, then. And just starts making camp.
Okay.
Deodora does the same thing. I was going to say the same thing.
Well, Blackstone's up to something. That's his business.
Well-
Their business.
Well, that's a thing that's happening right now. Okay, let's maybe get a fire or something going.
Oh, Cal, you should go with them, just so they're not alone. You seem best suited to climb up this tree.
Why? You sure
What?
about that?
What part of him seems like he's fit to climb
I don't
a
think
tree?
that's a good
It'd be
idea.
funny. It's part of your training.
I'll just watch. And he just kind of is standing underneath and just has that look of, please, dear, all the gods do not fall. Like, it just kind of
I
has
look
that
at-
look on his face.
I look at Aurea like, we're training him, not hazing him.
He's got to learn to climb a tree sometime. And these Blackstones up there, and there's a rope. Seemed like the most logical time.
I feel like he just doesn't have the amount of body strength needed, upper body strength needed to do that.
Maybe you're right. Well, I guess we should start camping.
I'll say based upon your passive perceptions, because I'm not going to make you roll, and based off of your backgrounds, both of you are able to find small kindling. There's, some broken branches, some dead wood, as well as some dead grass that's around that could help with building a fire and sustaining that. The trees themselves, the way they're kind of forced in, it's not a complete circle, it's like a half. So you are getting actually a lot of coverage from the treetops above. That only a couple droplets of rain are kind of coming in every now and then, not enough to wreck a fire if you were to make one.
Cool. I will make a fire. I'll use whatever druidcraft I have to do to dry out the leaves and twigs and
Sure.
start the fire.
Okay. It doesn't take you long. They were already pretty much dead. They just need to be dried from the rain. I imagine you druidcrafting, but also flapping your wings to
Always. My wings never stop.
Yeah.
They're always doing something.
You're the hummingbird, kind of just constantly moving around. All right, and that's happening as then Blackstone will say that you were coming down from the tree at that point.
Okay. Scouting mission complete.
What did you see? Anything interesting?
And then I use silent image to make like a map of the area that I just saw.
Oh, that's useful.
So we're currently here, but out here, and like I expand the map to show them what I saw from the top of the tree. There are farms, there are bits of bison moving through the land, which I suppose on further reflection might make good food, but also may belong to people who live here, and that could cause an issue.
They also take a lot of work, and one bison is quite a lot. I think that'd be more than we would need. And I don't really want to waste it.
There's this pause here because it's I suppose, but I also wouldn't know. Like that is that look
Yeah.
of being like,
Oh, and Ori sees that. So, well, a bison is very large, and there's a lot of meat, like muscle on it, which we'd eat, and I don't want it to go to waste. And we wouldn't have a lot of time to like fully dress it.
oh, I suppose that's true. Although,
Oh, and when I mean dress, I don't mean to actually put a dress on it. I mean to like tear it down in the field.
oh, you mean to just properly prepare it for eating?
Yes.
But wouldn't Deodora? Do you think you could eat a whole bison?
By myself?
I suppose there would be some help, but I'm not sure how much.
I mean, in a one sitting, no. The bison's very large.
Though that does mean that there might be other animals around. So maybe deer or some rabbits.
I mean, there are ways. I mean, I don't think we have any anything we could possibly cure the meat. Put it in salt.
Don't feel like we're going to be here very long.
Oh, I mean, no, I'm just telling Blackstone what you could do with the meat.
Yes, sorry.
I will need to add this to my considerations for later. This thing of preparing different types of foods is rather fascinating.
Oh, yes it is. Oh, hold on. And Oria's gonna start digging through her bag and pull out, let me know if I wouldn't have it. We did say that I took a whole bunch of travel guides, so there's gotta be like a field cookbook in there. Oh, I have this and this could help. And I hand it to Blackstone and it's like, how to feed yourself in the wilds of...
Yeah, it's a foraging.
Gordon
It's a book
Ramsay's
about foraging.
Eating in the Wild is what
Oh
the
my
pamphlet
God.
is. And you see on the cover of this pamphlet, it does appears to be a gorgon, gray of skin, with one of its horns is partially torn off, broken, and is kind of standing in front of it with white robes that have buttons down it, kind of just giving this like mean expression on their face. As you see this kind of this pamphlet has like flames kind of up around him from behind, and it seems to be like one of those fold out pamphlets, not super long, but it does have the tips and tricks, which that will give you advantage then for cooking food out here, as long as this pamphlet is in one piece. So keep that in mind.
Thank you for this. I will be sure to read it, although I'm not sure when.
Oh, take your time. You can have it. I took a lot of things when I left. Mostly books and pamphlets about the area. Here's a travel guide. Here's a what to do if you get overheated. I have one on how to get water from different plants in the area. Just, she has just pamphlets. Like, think of like any roadside like attraction. You know how they have all those pamphlets.
You're that tourist that went in and got in all the pamphlets and maps and is now like, oh, honey, do you want to do this activity or this activity?
Just to let you know, April's also like that.
Oh, I'm the same.
We should go see the gators. Oh, we should also go to this place. We need to go to the go-karts. I got a pamphlet. It's got a coupon.
Same.
There's mini golf right like a mile away.
I think as
Sorry, the
Oria
Florida
is
just came out.
I think as Oria's going through all these pamphlets and shit, like, you just see Deodora's face, like just confused, because it's like, you need a fucking book. I could just show you.
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting to run into anybody that quickly, and so I never really needed them.
I mean, if you want to learn this stuff, I could just show you, because this is how my family and I survive.
Well, you know something? I think I will hold on to the book because, well, one, it will probably be easier to retain, and then two, with no ill intentions, some of us learn better with words. However, I also like seeing demonstrations of things because I can record them. Right. Also, there's a forest that we're heading to, and it's here, from where we can see. I believe this is a bit north of where we are at the moment, and there is the edge of a section of woods there. Otherwise, I don't believe that we'll run into a lot of, well, people out here. At least not for several miles. So, it's reasonably safe to make camp here, I think. Well, maybe not right in the middle of whatever pathway this is, but nearby.
Well then, I think we should start getting to work. And is finishing the work.
Oh, is there some way that I can help?
Oh, do you want to figure out food? I think we've got the fires, and Cal and Toby are putting up all the tents over there very quietly. It's very nice of them. So I think we just need to figure out how we're going to feed ourselves.
I look at you confused for a moment here. Normally you bite things for a while and then you swallow them and then you digest them and they provide you nutrients.
Is that how it works? Okay. I mean, that makes sense. Though you do want to remember the chewing part. You don't just bite something. You gotta chew it.
Oh.
That, I think, aids in the digestion.
Yeah. You can't just swallow something whole. You'll choke.
Though I've seen you swallow some things that I was afraid you were going to choke on. Turkey legs! The turkey legs!
Phrasing.
The giant turkey legs we ate that she said she ate in like one bite.
Phrasing.
So. Right. What should I look for dinner?
Something that's small and can be easily dressed and prepared, like a rabbit or like a pheasant.
Rabbit or pheasant?
I wouldn't go any bigger than a deer. Like a medium to small sized deer.
Medium to small sized deer. Okay. I will go and scout for some of these things, and I will report back with my findings as soon as possible. And then I just take off into a random direction of the woods, tracking things.
Okay, roll a d4.
I am loving Blackstone's hunting adventure right now so much. Deodora's just sitting there
It's
watching.
a 4.
Okay, so you're going west from the
Okay.
camp. Go ahead and roll either survival or perception as you are moving off.
Okay, which one of those do you want?
Either or, I will let you pick.
Okay, that is a 23 on perception.
Okay.
You see the grass is shifting every now and then. Again, the rain is falling around you as well. And after a couple of moments, you do hear, seems like a kind of like clucking noise. And out steps a medium to small sized bird, that kind of pokes its head out. It's got a black, kind of head and beak, then this large kind of white ruffle of feathers, that turn into brown where its wings are, and then behind it you see that it's a turkey, but you see this kind of bird that's kind of moving around. They are April. But you see he's kind of moving around, doesn't seem to be noticing you at this point, but is kind of poking its head out of the grass, and then kind of is that kind of scared Pokemon that quickly dips its head back in. So it's up to you whether you wish to pursue this turkey.
So does the turkey look like how many? Basically, I'm trying to determine if the turkey would successfully be able to feed my friends. I want to know how many there are.
Okay.
Like I don't know like what size of, like I've seen my friends eat things, but I don't know how much they need to feed themselves. And I don't have to think about these things.
Well, that's going to be a question for you and Blackstone to figure out, and how to kind of set those parameters.
Okay, well, then I'm going to, something? I know what I'll do. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, all right. So How far away is the turkey?
The turkey is about 40 to 50 feet away.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what level of effort this is going to take.
We will
I
find
would
out.
like to take an arrow, and I would like to use said arrow.
Okay.
A normal one, not a spirit arrow, to be clear.
I figured as much. I didn't think you were going to use a spirit arrow on a turkey. But
No,
yeah.
no, like, the thing is, the thought does cross my mind,
Sure.
and then I remember what happened to the cheesecake. So,
Love that's your reasoning.
like, I don't know if it'll have that same thing, like, that same effect on living things.
Sure.
So, I would like to try to see if I could, like, from what I've seen of the turkey, if I could see where any of its vital spots are and just aim for them.
Okay. Make another survival check.
Okay. That survival check is an 18.
Okay. You can see that its neck is pretty, I mean, it's doing the kind of strut right now where its neck is not fully exposed. So while its neck is not exposed, its chest is because of the way it's having to move. So it's kind of brandishing its chest outward. Very much has that kind of sign of here. You can also tell it has very short legs, and based off of that check, seems to be favoring its left wing slightly. Whether that was from a prior incident or being in the wilds, not sure, but it seems to be favoring it a little bit.
Okay. So, like, based on that information, would, like, is a basically one-shot, one-kill scenario possible? Because I'm imagining that what we
You
don't
can
want to do is have
certainly
to
try.
chase this thing through the woods.
You can
Okay.
certainly try. I am not going to
Okay. I just, like, the thing is, I don't necessarily even want to know, like, yes or no as much as what are the chances.
Sure.
If it's just like, you have a pretty good chance, maybe, you know, like, that's also fine.
That's something to ask too. Then, has Blackstone had a lot of history of hunting turkeys and have that knowledge of like, oh, okay, one shot could do it?
Blackstone doesn't normally go hunting turkeys, but that's also because Blackstone doesn't need food.
Sure.
So I guess we'll see how this goes. Okay. I am going to attempt to shoot said bird with a short bow.
All right.
Not if I can't put the dice in the tower. All right, that is a 14.
14.
To hit this turkey.
14 just misses as the arrow goes sailing right literally centimeters away from you were aiming probably for its chest, or were you aiming for a specific area?
I guess chest, I suppose, would make the most sense for me, given that it's the largest target.
Just kind of like clipping underneath where its kind of beak is, and the section between beak and then its chest in that area, the arrow just goes, and you see it immediately moves its head in your direction, and then immediately books it into the grass. And you hear it like, you know, doing the thing that turkeys do.
Well, since it's making noise and it's in tall grass, it should be pretty easy to track. So I'm going to fire another arrow at it.
Okay. Go ahead and roll initiative on this turkey.
Oh, initiative on this turkey. God, all right. That's a 10 on initiative against this turkey.
You go before the turkey. The turkey rolled a 5.
Oh, lucky me.
As it goes flocking in, Deodora and Aurea, you can hear that something has been alerted to Blackstone's presence.
That is a nat 20 on that second shot.
Nice.
Dang. What were you gonna say, Fair?
I was just gonna say, I think as like I hear this commotion, like emanating from the bush, I just sort of look in that direction and say, "Sounds fine."
He
hasn't called for help, or they haven't called for help, so it's fine.
I don't think they would. I think they would just try their best, but I do believe in them.
Oh, I also believe in them. It'll be fine.
Sorry,
Like prepping the fire for a meal.
Is the bush close to us? The direction it's
The
coming from?
grass is at this point from the camp. It's about, because the turkey moved a little bit away, about 100 feet away.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But you have a perfect view of Blackstone now, having like just shot an arrow and is lined up another shot as you see this turkey quickly like popping up and down from the grass, going as it's moving.
They've got this.
Through. So that was a nat 20 you said, Blackstone? Okay. What does it look like as you hit it with this arrow?
Okay. So, like, it's just one of those. I don't know who can see, like, the turkey running, but if you could hear it, you would hear the turkey making a lot of noises just when you go. I'm sure Blackstone will be fine. The turkey stops making noise altogether.
Yep. As the arrow, you are able to just catch it in its neck. Instead, an afterthought coming into your mind as you're kind of letting the arrow fly, that you don't want to hurt that turkey meat that is going to be in the chest. So that's why you aimed for the neck and were able to get it there. All right. The turkey falls out of the somewhat sky. It was kind of just floating around, and you were able to go and grab it. Seems like it's a pretty decently sized turkey.
I examine it, then I go, okay, maybe there's another one of these. And I try to, leave the arrow in the turkey because I know what at least my arrows look like.
Sure.
And put it next to a tree.
Okay.
Take, a dagger and make, a small carving on it so that I can find it later. And then I go looking for another, another 3 turkeys.
Okay. We'll say for the sake of brevity, why don't you make one final survival check?
Okay. That is a bad survival check. That survival check is a 5.
Okay. You go searching. You're quickly adapting to the area around you, but every now and then when you get a little bit closer to another turkey, a twig ends up snapping that in the mud. It's a little difficult to see, and it just alerts them to the point that eventually, after about 20 minutes of searching, the turkeys know you're here and they left. So you only have that one that you were able to catch by surprise.
To add to my notes, in order to learn how to properly cook food, you also have to learn how to properly look for it. Challenging, but satisfying.
My favorite part about this is that Deodora said, I will show you how to do these things. And then Blackstone was like, I'm doing it by myself. And you know what? I love that for them. I stand that for them. I'm proud of them.
It's very much the complete opposite versus Cal, who's like, yes, please help me. Like, you and Oria are being the parents of this. Oh, you want help? You don't want help. Okay.
Well, it was the, hey, what can you do? What can I do to be helpful? Go find us food. Okay. I'm doing my best. So
no, I love them. I love them.
You are doing amazing.
Doing amazing, sweetie.
I am here for the entire Blackstone hunting chef experience.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm trying to get that hero's feast. Okay, let's go.
I'm so excited when we get to go to Blackstone's first cooking competition and they just whoop Gorgon Ramsay's ass.
Oh my god.
You'll totally have to pull from that one 5e module that's about cooking.
Yes. Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yes.
I can't think of what it's called right now.
But Oria and Deodora, I imagine you...
I do come back with the turkey eventually.
You do see Blackstone as the light in the sky darkens even more. Eventually comes back to camp, a bit more muddied, is carrying a turkey, but is a bit more muddied for sure, just because like the kind of splatters from moving quickly and doing all of that. You can see Corbin on the side of Blackstone, like peeking out of the scarf, and just is like using a little like hanky to kind of get the mud off of his little fur, not having enjoyed this experience at all.
Did he take his cloak off though before he went into the mud to make sure that it stayed clean?
Who?
Corbin.
Oh, I was
Corbin
about to say
didn't know
Blackstone.
that
Absolutely
Blackstone was
not.
about to do this, so no.
Oh no! You got his fit dirty.
Doesn't Cal have prestidigitation? We got this.
Yeah.
We're fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I feel like the second Cal sees someone muddy. Oh no.
No, no.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, most likely. Clean yourself. Get right.
But
I cast get right.
I cast get right. I cast wash your ass, and you come out.
Wow.
wow, we out here today. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be a new homebrew spell coming to Patreon. It's wash your ass.
Damn. But you do see Blackstone, and they are back at camp with Turkey. Pretty decently, for those that are more experienced, pretty decently sized. It's a little underweight, just because they were now getting into the season of starting to fatten up before the winter. But looks fine otherwise.
Oh, this looks wonderful.
I remembered to use physical arrows and not spirit arrows for
Thank
this.
the gods. Well, I guess we should
I
start.
tried to find other ones, but I was not as successful at catching them unawares. So
I think
perhaps
you did
another
wonderfully.
time.
I think this will be enough. We still have rations, and we have things to add to it, and I think this will do perfectly. Deodora, do you have any opinions? You're the one who's the master at this.
I think that we can make this work, and I think, it's about maximizing what you have, so we can make this work.
You'll have to teach me to hunt more efficiently one day, I think.
I think you did well for your first try. Some people don't catch anything at all.
I tend to make too much noise.
Yeah. Also, your wings are kind of just a giveaway.
And one thing we've never talked, you hear a from the wings flattering.
Deodora wasn't even talking about the noise from the wings. She was talking about the colors of the wings, which are like, even though they're like these fall colors, they are still bright and not muted.
In
And
certain
it's like,
places, they don't match.
yeah, like most places, they do not match. Like here, right now, in this field.
One very specific woods that they match in.
Yeah, and it's not even on this plane of existence. So yeah, I think what Deodora will do is like take the turkey and start like defeathering it and whatnot, and making sure like showing Blackstone just like what you need to do to prepare those, like making sure, I don't know much, but like plucking out the feathers and making sure like any of like the little like tips from the feathers are like taken out, so like the skin is smooth and whatnot, and like making sure it's clean and all that good stuff. So she'll go through and showing Blackstone that.
Are
Okay.
these things dangerous to you?
Oh, they're not edible, but they can be useful, just not in food.
What can you
Plenty
use
of
them
people
for?
write with, I mean, plenty of people have feather quills that they write with.
And
Maybe
you can
Cal
stuff them
use
in a
those.
pillowcase.
Well,
That too.
I collect as many feathers as I can find that are in like sufficient enough state to be like a quill, and just collect them.
Okay. Why don't you roll a quick investigation check? Just because the area around is getting a little bit muddled.
That is an 11 on investigation.
You find 3 feathers that seem like they'll be good enough. All of them are brown with little hints of white, kind of almost decorating the band. Making a sizable quill, though.
Okay. Well. Okay. I need to figure out a way to. Well, hopefully, I will remember all the stuff that Diodor had just said about how to prepare these things for consumption by other things. I should also probably make myself a note at some point to look up what other things you can use this stuff for. What do you do with the bones? What do people do with the organs we're not using?
Well, the bones can be used to make a broth for later food preparation. And also bone broth soup is really good. It's healthy for you.
A broth, is that like making tea but with bones?
Yeah, you can actually say that. It's more like, but it's like a tea for food, I guess. Like
Interesting.
with soup, the broth is kind of just the base for like, and the carrier for a lot of other ingredients.
We are not doing this is soup tea shit again.
We're
not starting that.
When did
Are
we
we?
do that?
Are you?
That was a
are you-
Twitter thing for a while, and people were
What is-
fighting
what
if
is-
soup was tea or
I'm
not.
I'm sorry, what is Twitter?
What?
April's anger comes through Aurea. Well, it's you know the bird messengers. There's a wall of bird messengers that are just screaming out letters for people who don't know where they are. So if they can't find the person they're going to, every town has a Twitter wall, which just all the messenger birds screaming their messages for people hopefully finding them.
That sounds like a headache.
It is horrible.
And a bad idea. Who thought of that?
I don't know, but it's getting worse. Every time I see it, it's just getting worse. Now if you pay extra, you get an extra special bird. They're not any better.
I think I'll avoid that. I can't. That just sounds useless to me.
Okay. We'll say for the sake of brevity, under Diodora's tutelage and mastery of cooking out in the wilds, you all are able to have a fantastic turkey meal. And that is a perfect time for us to take our break. So, I love it. All right, y'all, we're going to take about a 10-minute break to get up, stretch, do all the things that us as humans got to do. So we will be back in about 10 minutes and see you all shortly.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day. On the Sword Coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey. Heroes on their way. Fighting together against overwhelming odds. Fighting together in favor of multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, hit your wall and there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
Easy to.
I'm bored.
We can go scream at the cat for another hour.
Nah, I'm tired of screaming at the cat.
Shut up with that! Be bored no more with 1985 games. Enjoy their vast variety of products and help bring your tabletop to a whole new level. With easy-to-use dungeon sticky notes. The deck of stories holds prompts and adventure hooks for any setting, and thousands of cutout game pieces with their dungeon craft.
You've come all this way for nothing, fool! The princess is mine! You'll never get away with this, Malachor!
Write everything down in your Hero Notes journal and start your adventure today! Visit the World Wide Web address 1985games.com and find many helpful products such as their Dungeon Craft series, battle maps, deck of stories, miniatures, dungeon notes, and now VHS dice. Again, that's 1985games.com.
It's almost like when you smell something baking in the kitchen. It's the identity of this cheesecake again. Okay.
Okay, so
it's just kind of slowly wafting up, and you see
Basically-
it has like a hole in it. The soul of the cheesecake has been hurt, essentially. That's what it's like.
Okay,
you just hurt the
so-
soul of the cheesecake.
like, I feel like what we have coming out of here is like the literal.
And welcome back. I was counting down and then I hit the button on accident. But welcome back to Ampistrano. Hope you were able to get up, stretch, move around, as we're going to dive right back into it. So just before the break, the group was able to meet with Deidre, get some extra money, get some information about Weldor, the person that they are going to look for. There was an interesting goodbye between Gregory and Deodora, and the group was able to set off down what the hell did I name this road? The Huntsville Road, towards the Jinora Wetlands. They set up camp for the night. Blackstone tried to multi-class into Ranger and did some turkey hunting with some success. And Deodora was able to show Blackstone how to properly prepare it before serving the group. And that is where we pick up for the evening. Is dinner has just finished. There is rain that's slowly kind of falling around you. The canopy of the trees above you is largely keeping that out of your campsite. Every now and then a droplet kind of pinging against Deodora's armor or against one of the tents or any of the items that are around that are metallic in nature, sending a pinging noise through the night. Toby and Cal have already kind of wandered to their cots for the evening. Is there anything you all would like to do before we take over? Who's going to be taking over watch?
This is the quietest I've ever heard Cal. Are we sure he's okay?
I throw a thing in his direction.
Ow.
I throw a lentil at him.
He's alive.
I would, all things being considered, I mean, normally he's lost in thought when he's in moments like this. Maybe it's because of Sam.
Do you think he said bye to Sam properly?
I'm pretty sure he did. But also, well, and I just say this to Cal, you are going to have to sort out what you two are going to do eventually.
He kind of just snores in response. Not sure if that was a faked snore or legitimate.
Insight check.
I mean,
oh, hold on, that foot fell.
You know I can tell when you're not sleeping, right?
Oh shit. I got a 14.
oh yeah, he's faking.
Oh.
Absolutely
I can also
faking.
tell.
I don't.
I could. He's not.
I'm just
I
like,
say
I'm not
very,
even going to say anything. I'm just like,
I think I say out loud in a whisper, but the whisper is really obvious. He's not actually sleeping.
Yeah, I don't think he's really fooling anybody.
I think
But
he's
itself.
pouting.
Stop pouting! And I'm gonna throw
Another bean.
another
Ow.
bean.
It hits. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. It hits. Ow. It just rolls.
It's gonna be
over.
okay.
Rolls over, and you see he's kind of like made shift. In one of the trees, there's a little bit of like a hollow at the bottom. Blackstone, you know, he just, instead of sleeping under a tent or something like that, he likes to have kind of like a miniature kind of cave. So he's kind of wrenched himself underneath there. Barely fits. But it does give him a little bit of coverage. But he is very much like ingratiated in there. Back is to the rest of you. The firelight is kind of bouncing along the tree trunks, casting an orange and yellow hue that kind of flickers every now and then as the fire right now it's doing fine.
Okay.
So who would like to take first watch?
I'll take first watch.
Okay. All right. So, because we haven't done this before, really, with being out in the wild. So what'll be happening here is we'll be taking 3 perception checks to kind of blanket out the evening. It'll be broken up into 3 parts. And that will kind of let you know, hey, do you see anything? And are able to say, hey, there's something happening or not, and how that evening may go. All right. If you want to go ahead and roll then or if you want to do a perception check. Now's also the time too, if you wanted to have any one-on-one conversations and stuff too, that's more than fine to do before you head to bed.
I got a 17.
17. Okay. You see Theodora and Blackstone kind of settling into their stasis and sleep. The early / mid to evening hours seemingly going by unabated. The treetops are largely continuing to keep that rain from peppering the campsite. The clouds parting in an area, and you see one of the 3 moons of Ampistrano, Fallon, a white and gray speckled giant poking through the clouds. Nothing happens on your watch. It's quiet. Who do you wake up for second watch?
Who wants second watch?
I don't care.
Theodora it is.
All right.
Everything's good. It's your turn. Good night.
All right.
Slumber.
Okay.
All right. Theodora, go ahead and roll a perception check for me, please.
Can I use Sparky to give me the help action?
You can.
I didn't think of that. My familiar's no help.
That's gonna be a 24.
Okay. The storm seems to be settling around you. Fallon suddenly parting the clouds a bit more, so you're in kind of a breakage between the rain. You do see the tall grass is rustling every now and then as you see a darkened shape moving. It's kind of hard to see the exact, like, if it's a humanoid or what, but it's a darkened shape of some sort. Moving about, the distance away is about 400 feet.
They're moving towards us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I'll just sort of... I don't want to wake anyone just in case it's just an animal.
Sure.
Crossing. But I will keep an eye out on that. And if it gets closer and seems to be like a threat, then I'll have Sparky wake everybody up.
Okay. The shape does continue in your direction. And after a few moments, you see this 2 heads popping out of the tall grass, kind of looking to see the small clearing that you're in. It's 2 sheep. One larger and white of kind of fur hair, and the other is a midnight black. Both are kind of peering about, and then you see after a moment there's a smaller sheep that looks to be their baby that kind of is following close behind, just kind of looking around. They notice you and give you that kind of deer in the headlights look.
I think what I'll do, I don't want to take my eyes off them just in case it's Theodora knows that magic exists and it can be tricky, but she also doesn't want to if these are just sheep, she doesn't want to scare them off, because that seems like a dick move. So she'll sort of just relax herself a little bit so it comes across like she's not going to harm them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and just not really move, so sort of let them come closer so she can get a better gauge of what the fuck is this. But also there's a little baby.
Yeah, there's you can
Cute
tell
little
this,
baby.
based upon your experience, this one is probably a couple weeks old. You can still see it's got that newness to walking, so it keeps tripping every now and then, especially through the mud.
So cute.
And you see the white one every now and then kind of lifting their head beneath the baby to kind of help try to make sure it's stabilized in its little path.
Can I do like some sort of check just to see like if I could like, cause I as a player I'm like, these are absolutely real sheep, but I feel like Deodora would still be a little leery. So can I like do some kind of, I don't know what kind of check you'd want me to do.
Do you want to do another perception check?
Sure, can Sparky help?
Yes.
Oh, not that great this time. 13.
Okay. I mean, they smell like sheep. Remember, your sense of smell is pretty strong, and while they are watered down in the rain, it smells like sheep. They're moving like sheep, and they are moving in your direction. At this point, they're just outside of the outcropping of the trees. You kind of see the midnight kind of black with like blue undertones kind of poking its head curiously in your direction, with an expression of just curiosity and innocence. It definitely looks like a sheep, and it's buying like a sheep as well. Just moving about.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just leave it for now, and then yeah, as my watch ends, I'll wake Blackstone up.
Okay. All right.
I'll wake them up and be like, so we have visitors. And then I just gesture to the sheep. They seem harmless. I think they just wanted shelter from the rain.
Okay. Well, in that case, I suppose we should let them know that this is safe. I am going to try to approach a sheep in as non-threatening a manner as possible.
Okay, roll animal handling.
Okay. You said an inspiration is an additional D12, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna put that die over here.
Don't
in
forget too,
case
you
I
also
need
have your
it.
D8 from the cheesecake that you and Toby made the day before, or earlier that day.
Okay, I'm gonna put that one over here. Dice number 1.
Salem
Yep,
just
I
walked head
definitely
first
need one
into
of
the
these.
microphone.
Dice number 2. You definitely put that one over here. Okay. Because this is an animal handling roll, so that total with all the extras and things comes to 24.
Okay. And how are you going about approaching? You see a all-white sheep, a midnight black and blue sheep, as well as a much smaller one. They seem to be a baby, few weeks old, kind of a mixture of the two, slowly moving around in the area just by the camp.
Okay, so what I do is I take a look at them and about like where some of the grass is,
Mm-hmm.
And I pick up a handful. I like approach them with as much grass as I can grab. I try to approach them in a way that I'm coming closer to the bigger sheep than the smaller one.
Okay.
And
Theodora, are you awake to watch this, or did you just go to bed?
Oh, I think I'll watch like the first part of Blackstone approach, and then probably just be like, again, this seems fine, and then go to bed.
Sure. I love it.
It's been a long day. Theodora needs her 8 hours.
That's valid. Okay. So under the moonlight, you said you're approaching which one, Blackstone?
The larger one.
The larger one. So the midnight black and blue sheep, who seems to be the one that's kind of taking point and taking guard, kind of keeps looking around the area while the other two are kind of chomping at grass or, you know, every now and then leaves that have fallen from the tree above. And it clocks you immediately. But it doesn't move. It just kind of sticks its head out a little bit, smelling in your direction.
I'm very much taking a like kind of like slow and deliberate thing, right? Like I want to make it clear, like I am not trying to like, I'm not a predator in any sense of the word. So.
Okay. You continue forward. It's still kind of sniffing. It takes a very hesitant step forward with its left kind of hoof. You also see it every now and then. It quickly moves its head about, kind of quickly clocking where its mate and its baby are as this is happening.
When I get close enough to it to do so, I offer it some grass.
Okay. Why don't you roll one more animal handling?
Why?
This is a skill challenge.
That is a nat 20.
Oh, okay. You see that some of the grass that you picked up has bits of, like, remnants of hay that you can probably gather is from one of the nearby farms, or maybe even as far away as Ilopan, that has been kind of carried on the wind and interwoven with these pieces of grass. And as soon as the scent of that kind of wheat or the hay hits it, the sheep immediately like steps full forward and starts chomping on the on what you are gesturing out towards it.
I am taking a moment while the sheep is like eating some of the grass to pet the sheep.
Okay.
Because this is now a petting simulator. I will pet all the animals, all of them.
Sure.
All of them. I asked Corbett if he would like to like come and meet the sheep that I have run into. But also, Corbin is an organic life form and might very well just be sleeping.
Corbin, you can hear, is kind of doing a nighttime routine of theirs. It seems to be just cleaning its fur out. It's still getting some of the mud out from earlier, the prestidigitation. That word is hard. Not exactly working as well on him as it did on you. You do get a... because of course he's aware of what you're doing. Fuck that sheep. Like, it just doesn't want to come and meet this sheep. Like, it's just very like, nah. A little egotistical.
Corbin is a meanie panini. We're gonna have to do something about this.
You gather maybe perhaps being in the city for so long has perhaps shifted some of his viewpoints. He's a familiar that's used to luxury, which for a familiar is being indoors and having clothes, versus being out in the wilds, and that may or may not have changed the perspective and the flexibility that Corbin once had, especially as a younger ferret. Or I'm not ferret. Wow, mouse. Sorry, something else popped in my head.
Corbin got an upgrade suddenly. Like what?
No,
Corbin
mouse.
evolved.
Mouse.
Is the way that I'm sitting here, and all I can think now is like, because you know Blackstone is Blackstone. If I put together that this is the reason that he's behaving that way, I am going to swear off being near modern conveniences for my career.
But you do kind of feel a pat as Corbin kind of taps your skin, basically doing his nightly like good night, as he kind of squirms into a little hideaway that he has kind of set up. As the sheep is just chomping away, and you're kind of petting it under the moonlight.
I kind of like keep like, you know, I keep watch, but I'm also like, you know, I get to know the sheep.
Sure.
I like take a look at its like at the other sheep that it keeps looking at, kind
Sure.
of wondering how they're related to each other. I kind of make a somewhat educated guess, and I just kind of like pass the evening that way.
Go ahead and roll a perception check for how the watch goes with this.
Well, that is a nat one.
Okay.
On this watch, so I'm having a wonderful and glorious time with sheep.
Okay. As you were kind of keeping watch, you are... The way that you process things. You haven't seen a lot of horses throughout Ilopan. You haven't seen a lot of other creatures. There have been farms nearby. There have been other creatures nearby. You are taking apart how this creature is moving, its movements, how it kind of is stopping and looking around, especially whenever there is a breeze, how it kind of lifts its head up to kind of sniff in the air. You are fascinated by these sheep. And that is taking a large portion of your attention. You're trying to guesstimate age. You know, maybe it's something about its hooves, or the way that it has a look in its eye, or something like that. Or, hey, maybe it can talk like Corbin can. Who knows? You are just fascinated, and that is taking up the facet of your watch as that's happening. As I say, as my own sheep is literally right here, sir. Sir.
And making sure to make himself known.
Oh yeah, always. But it seems like it's fine.
I go and if that's the last watch of the day, I go back to the camp to wake everybody up and make sure that like people haven't been stabbed.
Sure. You head back to camp.
We're all dead.
You head back to camp. The fire is slowly dying out. It's on embers right now. You see everyone's still sleeping. Everyone is whole. No stab wounds. Everything seems fine.
How close are we to sunrise at the moment?
Sunrise, you can see that it's just like the sun's rays are just poking up over one of the hills. So you're right at like dawn.
I think I just take the time to sit down back at camp and like watch the sun come up before I wake anybody.
You can certainly do that. And we'll say then that slowly, Aurea and Diodora, you start to stir. Just it's almost like one of those times where you forget where you fell asleep because you're so used to being in a specific place for a long period of time. And then it's that jolt of, oh, okay, I'm here. I'm here. Okay, got it. As the rest of the party wakes up, Cal, you hear kind of stirring a little bit. The day is yours.
Are the sheep still there?
The sheep are still there. They're kind of slowly starting to head towards the grass. But they've been kind of munching away on the area around you. You can see that, like, they've been very hungry because parts of, like, the roots of the grass have even been ripped from areas. So Instead, there are patches of mud and dirt that have been upheaved instead. So,
Oh, if I see that, I'm 100% Drew crafting little snacks for them.
Oh.
Just trying to shove grass in like, why would you eat it? Eat it. You're hungry, if obviously.
Eat the fucking food.
Eat the fucking grass.
You do see that the smallest, the baby, it takes the most interest in you kind of druid crafting the materials into space, Oria, and it kind of is doing that movement of like firmly place their legs in front of them, but is like trying to smell and see what you might be giving them. But yeah, no, they're still in the area, and it's for the first time in weeks. It's not a rainy day. You can see that the sky above you, there's a couple of clouds, but none look like rain clouds of any sort. It looks like it's going to be a relatively a clear day. As you all awaken.
Well, should we continue then?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Then get.
Well, I suppose we should, but before we do that, and I go and I say my farewells to the sheep because I am going to miss them.
Aw. They follow us.
Well, we might be able to bring. Yeah, how long will they follow us for? Maybe they might come with us. We did feed them.
Well, I mean, aside
Jordan's
from
like,
feeding
"Damn
them,
it,
they are also very friendly.
They all that.
Jordan's like, you guys have enough
Friendly,
fucking
very
familiars
friendly
in your
and soft,
party.
fascinating.
Fucking
I'm pretty sure that this smaller one is the child of these two parents.
Do you think it has a name?
I am not certain if they do.
Just that long.
Hey, Blackstone. You know how you can talk in our heads? Can you talk in their heads?
Oh.
Well, the
How would
minds
that
of
work?
creatures are a little bit different. It takes a bit more effort for them, I suppose would be the
Oh.
best way to say it, but we can certainly attempt.
The sheep's head explodes.
Oh my god.
I'm picturing like the Einstein equations like slowly popping up around the sheep. Okay. You're gonna try to use telepathy on a sheep?
Yes.
I am
Make
going
them
to
our
try
new
to
friends.
use telepathy on. I'm going to try to use telepathy on a sheep.
Which one are you using the telepathy on?
The friendliest one, assuming that it has not introduced me to its mate or its child.
Okay, so the midnight black and blue one. Got it. Okay.
And then I think that's where I start. Equations are happening in my own head. Do sheep understand the concept of names?
You can certainly ask and find out.
I just walk over to the sheep and just ask the sheep what its name is. I don't use telepathy to do that. Everybody hears me ask out loud, do you have a name?
Oh my god.
I do use telepathy to see if it responds.
I mean, it stops politely grazing its breakfast and keeping an eye on the smaller one, which is very intrigued by Oria, to look in your direction of like, what the fuck? Kind of like deer in the headlights, like, huh? Doesn't respond otherwise.
Does it have thoughts other than breakfast?
Um,
Or I suppose emotional impressions of some kind.
you get a flash of like surprise. A little weariness. A question mark kind of popping up in place instead of like an actual like group of words or sounds. Roll an investigation check.
Investigation.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because this is you're basically reaching out and trying to connect. So
I mean, we're dear audience, we are like seconds away from making this the most dramatic thing possible. But for right now, the investigation roll was a 5.
okay. You get the briefest of images. And it's from the sheep's perspective. The sheep were not the only things that were here last night.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We rolled well on some of those perceptions.
When I get that, what I try to do is use telepathy to kind of figure out what's happening. And the way that I use telepathy to figure out what's happening is I show the sheep the woods as I saw them last night, and then I kind of see how the sheep responds or where it fills in the blanks for things I didn't see.
Okay. You see it and its family making the entrance into the kind of clearing near the camp. You see from their perspective, Deodora kind of watching for a moment and then just being like, psh, and then going to bed. You then see that it's focused on you when you were feeding and petting it. And it can tell that you were doing some kind of heavy thinking. And while you were kind of keeping an eye on things every so often, 3 humanoid figures moved into the camp. And hovered over, and again it's flashes, hovered over Deodora, Aurea, and Toby before following the firelight back out of the camp.
If you don't go directly to fucking jail.
So, do I, like, from those flashes, do we see what, like, are they just like shadowy figures, or do they have any distinct features?
It's a little bit hard because you're going from the sheep's perspective, so they aren't the most observant when it comes to that. The 3 figures are small in stature, so right around like 3 to 4 feet.
Okay.
A little bit more round about the middle.
Well, if these short people were here, they came and found people. They didn't kill anyone. They left. The sheep aren't necessarily observant, so.
The direction, because you would have gotten this, they headed north from where you were.
And north is where, like, things like cottages and farms were. Okay. So, Deodora and Aurea, would you mind checking your belongings?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Is anything missing?
Is any...
Your coin purses are both missing. And Aurea, your pearl is missing.
Oh, no. All of my money and my pearl is gone. Who's been here? Who's been here?
Oh,
Do you have my?
that means all my money's missing. I sniff around.
Okay.
Cal, did you do this?
And I use Sparky to help me.
Go for it. I'm gonna automatically assume you're using Sparky for each check when it comes to that,
Okay.
unless you tell me otherwise. So
would this be like survival or?
I will let you choose between survival, perception, investigation, depending on how you are doing this kind of search and having Sparky assist you with that.
I think I'm gonna use survival, and I think what I'm trying to do is like track any footprints that I know are not our footprints. And see if I can follow them out, and then Sparky will probably be like trying to catch a scent that we can follow.
Sure.
I would like to help Theodora.
I'm already getting help from Sparky. Are you giving me guidance or something? Do you have guidance?
Why can't you just get help?
Okay, fine.
I don't know.
Blackstone's
Full
helping me.
advantage.
Like I'm just saying.
Can I
That's a
have
question for the DM,
quadruple
not for
advantage?
Theodora.
Oreo will go straight up and start surveying.
Okay.
Okay, I'll help Ori instead
Yeah.
by like indicating that she.
I
should
pick
look
you up and carry you with me. You would go up.
northward.
Yeah, you're already up in the air, and then you ask them if they want to go up.
No, I asked before I went up.
Consent.
No, I mean that's
Consent,
fine. That's fine. I would trust you.
Okay.
Go up to look.
All right. So you roll perception on that, and then Ori, are you doing like a quick investigation to look at the area as well? Who is making bacon in this house? I am smelling bacon, and it's a problem.
Wait, that's not. How do I do that? How do I do that? Oh, I can do that here.
I got a 17 on my survival check.
Okay.
By the way.
Awesome.
You can't make it roll twice on D&D Beyond for perception, can you? For advantage, can you?
I think you have to just roll twice.
Yeah, you just roll
have to do it
twice.
Oh.
Manually each time,
20.
as far as I know.
Natural 20 for 25.
Nice. Okay.
Blackstone and I are celebrating in the air. Woo, woo.
So we'll start with Theodora and Sparky. It's a little bit difficult just because it was raining last night, and that largely drew away the scent that was on the rain. It washed away. However, it doesn't take you long to quickly find smaller footprints, short in terms of their movement. 3 individuals seem to have moved about this campsite. You gather from that survival that they were wearing light armor. They had to be quick to move in and out. Didn't bring a lot of weight to them either. The footprints in the mud that is slowly drying are not super deep, so they had to move quick. They headed northward, and you can see right along the grass where the grass and the like another outcropping of trees hits. There's a small notch in the tree that seems like some kind of either dagger or a knife possibly carved something different from the mark that Blackstone made when they were getting the turkey.
So almost like, does it seem like it's sort of like a mark so people can know like what path to take, like to follow, like a breadcrumb almost?
I'll say with your survival that and your history that the marking is very reminiscent of someone is surveying and marking a spot of where potential a target would be to come back.
Okay.
It's not the exact same marking that you and your kind of tribe would be using, but it's just a quick kind of marker of, okay, this is where the spot where we saw some kind of prey was used.
Okay.
Aurea and Blackstone, you take off upwards. Blackstone again seeing the hills and trees and outcroppings from all around. You can see that northward, a couple of miles, there is a cottage with seemingly some kind of farm set up. It's taking you further away from the Huntsville Road and into more of the wilds, but that's at least the closest. You also see in the grass, every now and then, it seems like these individuals were using both the grass and the tree line. Think of like when you're kind of moving through, regardless of how careful you are going to leave something behind. So the grass is partially damaged in areas. You can kind of see the path. There's a couple of them, but you can see that there are a number of paths heading towards that farm.
Okay, Aurea, point of strategy. So,
Yes.
if we can follow these trails to wherever they end up, I can try to read their thoughts and intentions, since I imagine that these shenanigans might be fresh on their mind. And if they are, then we will be able to find out who our targets are.
That's a really good idea. We should get the rest. Diodora would be better at tracking, but now that we found this, with you and Diodora, we'd be able to find them very quickly.
And hopefully we'll be able to get Toby's things back as well while we're there.
And I'm going to punch them a lot for taking our stuff without asking.
Well, I hope your punching is both vigorous and forceful.
Yes.
I feel it is very well deserved, especially when robbing people while animals are being appreciated.
It's
Thankfully,
just rude.
Our sheep friends saw this whole thing happen, and I was able to find that out. Because I certainly missed it yesterday.
We will bring the sheep a prize for seeing this for us.
Blackstone has a thought that they do not vocalize.
What is it? What is it? What's Jordan's face for? God damns it.
I'm not going to say it because you didn't vocalize it, but I think I know what you mean. Okay. Diodora, you are quickly, taking all of that in. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yep. Diodora, you quickly see Aurea and Blackstone kind of flittering about 60 to 50 feet up in the air before quickly flying down towards you and Sparky. Cal is still kind of like struggling to get fully awake. And Toby, you can see at this point, hasn't exactly taken in what's happening and is trying to make sure that the fire is completely out. As you all are kind of jumping into action.
They went this way. They were small creatures wearing light armor. They moved quickly.
Then let's get to move on. Cal, hurry up! As we're all like running.
As we're moving, I do want to like keep an eye out on the trees for any more of those marks.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you make another survival or perception as you're moving northward? And you can hear Toby and Cal are moving slower, but they are falling behind.
Yeah. That's 21.
Okay. You see every once in a while. It's not on every outcropping. And sometimes it's not even on the tree. It's on a blade of one of the grasses, like a thicker blade that's kind of swaying in the wind. That same kind of triangular mark with like a slash through it, marking, hey, this is where we need to come back to. You find as you're traveling for the next like 10 minutes, you find another 2 or 3. You can tell that the marks are getting a little bit more difficult to kind of find. Seemingly, whoever's doing this is experienced with it. As you continue onwards. And are you going, so I'm aware, are you all taking full force off towards that farm? Or are you following the marks specifically?
I'm following the footprints.
Okay.
So if the footprints go to the farm, that's fine.
Okay.
But I am following the obvious tracks that I know were from the people who came to the camp.
Got
and
it.
that might not be the farmhouse. Like, the farmhouse might be a red herring.
Got it. Okay. Your path continues for the next couple of miles. You all are getting further and further away from the Huntsville Road. The sun is definitely out at this point, which is kind of helping you, Deodora, with being able to track the footprints a bit more, seemingly finding the dried mud on some of the other grass areas that aren't as high. You see a couple instances where it seems like the tracks try to double back, seemingly trying to throw, perhaps with the mindset that they could be followed, shifting around. But based off of that check, I'm not going to make you roll again. You're able to find it pretty quickly again where they hop to and where the path is taking you. It first takes you towards the farm, but when you're about a mile away from the farm itself, like not even a mile, maybe half, it darts off quickly towards the left, towards the Ajora forest and the tree line there. You continue onwards.
Yes.
Okay.
We don't have any money. We like. I'm sorry. That was well. I don't got any cat. Like shit.
I'm just checking to make sure we're y'all going that way. You're not gonna go like see what else could be going on. So we're taking a rest to like look. So that's why I was double checking. You all head towards the Ajora forest where there is a kind of lesser traveled road. It's kind of one of those roads that clearly a cart has been across several times, and it's made the road itself from that. There are bent grasses, there's dirt all over the place and mud as it dips into the tree line. The trees quickly enclosing, blocking out almost any light. There are beams of sunlight that kind of dips through. The footprints are still going. You can tell Deodora, again, based off of that previous check, at some point around this area, the entrance to the forest, there seemed to have been some kind of disagreement, something, because all of a sudden the three sets of footprints converge, and you can tell by some of the bent branches, some of the stones that have been overturned in this area. There was some kind of squabble and disagreement. Eventually finding a scrap of cloth that you can see does have a little bit of blood on it. It's not large, it's a gray cloth with just a couple of driblets of blood on it, tucked behind a tree, seemingly caught on a branch as this tussle went by. It goes for a couple more feet before seemingly going back to normal, of the three being separate but crossing each other every once in a while as you're continuing deeper into the forest. I need another perception check because now it's changed in terms of the environment that you're looking around in.
Okay. I didn't do well. You said perception?
Mm-hmm. Perception or investigation?
It's always going to be perception, no matter what.
I'm going to offer.
Don't ever offer me either, because I have nothing to investigation. It's always going to be perception. It's always going to be a wisdom-based roll. That's only a 13, though.
Okay. Okay. You're able to follow the footsteps, although it's getting a little bit more difficult with the terrain changing. The forest floor has kind of been covered by these overgrown roots. that are kind of making it a bit more difficult, but you're able to pick up like a muddied handprint every now and then, kind of picking itself up and launching itself over the branch or climbing underneath. Eventually, you smell on the wind. It smells like smoke, like a fire is happening nearby. Just around the bend from a couple of trees, and you do see the smoke kind of slowly rising.
Okay, as we see the smoke and smell the fire, I will sort of do the mom arm bar on either side of me.
Sure.
To stop people from approaching further.
Before you do that.
You wouldn't. This is the only way to stop you.
Like, straight in the abdomen so it knocks the air out of him.
Yeah. There's a fire. There's a camp up ahead.
Okay, how far away is the campfire? Oh, sorry, hold on. How far away is the campfire?
How far away is the campfire?
The fire, you can tell, is about 100 feet away. The one thing you're also seeing as well, Deodora, it seems like in the tree line, just barely poking through, and actually Blackstone, you would see this too now that it's been pointed out. There's a series of stones, what looks to be a chimney, in this forest. So most likely this is not a campfire of sorts, but rather someone's home. That you all are slowly encroaching upon.
Okay. Is there anything nearby that I can climb?
There are a bunch of trees all around you.
Okay. So I take the time to do this in turn because, like,
Okay.
telepathy can only talk to one person at a time.
Why don't you make an acrobatics climb?
I'm going to try. I'm thinking that perhaps I should try climbing one of the trees to get a lay of the land. I have the capacity to read or, like, detect the thoughts of nearby minds, but that has a range of, and I draw a bubble around what, like, basically I have like here's where we are, and this is the bubble of range that, it's a purple bubble for what it's worth. This is the bubble of range that I can detect thoughts in. I need to be at least this close to a thing in order to read its mind.
Do you want to go up? I could take you up. Up and over. Would they notice?
Oh, well, that might be helpful. I do not know how much sound your wings would make at this moment.
I can try to go stealthily.
Okay, well, that is probably important, so I will see what I can do to assist somehow.
I'm fairly good at being sneaky when I want to be. It's just I really don't need to be, so...
This is definitely one of the times that we should be.
Should I roll stealth, Jordan? That is... What the hell is that number? It's a 16. Oh, I can't read. Don't get dice that are really dark, that have no colors on the letter, because you can't read them. 16.
16. Okay.
24.
24.
Because it's a +8.
All right, and you're stealthing forward, you said, correct?
Kind of forward and up.
Okay.
So I want to get us... Because how many things look up in this world? Not a lot of things look up for things in the sky during a normal day, so I'm hoping that we can
Sure.
go up higher.
Okay. I'll say you go up but stay within the tree line just in case that one off would be. You see that there seems to be a much larger house, cottage. It's a 2-story.
Is this close enough? Oh, sorry. Is this close enough, Blackstone?
Is it? Well, I'm pretty sure it is. This should do nicely. So, then I use detect thoughts, and what I'm looking for are the stray thoughts of people who would have, stolen the thing and are trying to figure out what to do with those things.
Okay.
Because, if I stole a pearl 24 hours ago and didn't know what it was, I would be trying to find out what to do with it.
Okay. What's the range of detect thoughts?
The range is 30 feet.
Okay. Alright, give me one moment. I gotta... Okay. You get a cluster of thoughts. You hear 3 kind of gruff individuals kind of doing a chorus of discordance, seemingly coming from that house. One, you can tell, and you get the image of the one that had been hovering over Deodora, picking her pack. Seemingly the leader of this excavation. Having thoughts of, is this going to be enough? Are we sure that this payment is going to go through? Not liking that they had to steal from others to make this
Jordan,
happen.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. You ain't gonna make me feel bad for these people.
That's valid. That's valid.
You ain't gonna make me
I'm not trying.
She's trying. She's trying right now.
No, I'm not.
What's this payment for?
From the one that had been looking over Aurea, is very pleased that they were able to find a pearl. That this will be payment enough for Ursula. And a lack of care. It's their lives or yours. Seemingly not giving a shit. The final one you get is from the one that had been hovering over Toby. Not wanting to be here. You also get an anger. This was most likely the one that had perhaps been fighting about doing this in the first place, not wanting to get roped further in onto these plans. All 3, though, you get an image of a hunched over woman with a staff, long silver hair, purple skin with rotted teeth. Seemingly, this is her home that they have brought these prizes to. Blackstone, you also get, she is probably in that house, but you are unable to detect her thoughts.
I guess it depends on how the probably part came about, but that is enough information to share with both Deodora and Aurea, and I simply express, it seems that there were motives related to their survival for stealing these things.
Oh, that means I just can't hit them.
And I suppose that means I will not do the thing I had originally intended to do.
What are you gonna do?
It may be best that we not ask that question at this moment. However,
I'm very excited. One day I hope to see it then.
Well, on the one hand, I can understand the excitement of novelty. On the other hand, I hope you never have to see the answer to that question. Well, we will need our things back all the same, but perhaps if they explain their situation, we can help them. I'm not certain of who this Ursula person is that they are referencing. However, my only guess, as a person who appears as she does, And these are things that they can see, because telepathy would let me share like the images of these things and like the emotions of all of these people about this person. From what she seems to be a person of either import or power, and this place is her home. Also, if I had to make a guess, she may wield magic of some kind.
Do you think we'd be able to just sneak in, you and I, and grab the stuff?
Well, the thing is, all of the people are in the building with the things. So we would have to not only sneak into the building, but we'd also have to steal things from them on their person while they are very awake.
Yeah, that might be a little bit harder. Well, should we get to everyone else then?
That would be for the best.
I think if you and I try to go talking, it might not work as well.
Oh, well, we don't have to talk to them. That's what knives are for.
You're right! And you, because of telepathy, you feel the excitement back again. She's like a kid. She's like, yeah! And we just fly back down and to the rest.
Like, Blackstone's feelings on this are, this may be, you know, like driven by necessity, but also, like, you have stolen from people that I care for. And so there has to be some accountability for that. And that might mean y'all are going to catch some hands or some blades or some other stuff. And then maybe we can work out some details about how you can make restitution.
And for flavor, because you get emotions and stuff with telepathy, right? And so you would be getting mine as well. I think Blackstone, you would feel the excitement more of, because she hasn't actually been in a real fight other than what you've seen. Most of her stuff is little scraps. So that's why her excitement of like cool things that you could do. It's that I'm going to go be a soldier. Oh shit, war's bad. Mentality. She doesn't know.
Okay.
She's very naive about the real world and what fighting actually means in the real world.
There is most of if I guess the impressions that come over from Blackstone are questioning but neutral. It is like, it's not something that I am angry about knowing what I know, but rather now there is just a thing to be done that I have no feelings about, except for, of course, the kind of general blank of, but what was it that you were thinking of doing? And you would at least get the idea that it was a far more extreme solution than shooting someone with an arrow.
Blackstone's going nuclear. So yeah, I guess we just go get everyone else. We're not gonna go into a fight without Deodora. Deodora likes to hit things.
All right. You reunite.
Deodora's just like vibing with Cal and Toby. They're just like really just like T-posed as if like they're a game on pause, waiting for y'all to come back.
Just in idle animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Not dancing like Crash Bandicoot out here, but when we get like within like range of like the camp, like Deodora gets the whole brain thing and just goes, they're in there, and I think we have to fight them, and one other person who I'm not sure if they're present or not. You may want to punch them the most. They might have magic.
okay. I say out loud. Just kidding. No, I don't. I don't. I've learned, kind of. I think Deodora will just be like, give a thumbs up.
Like, when we get back to the camp and everybody is like together, I explain the image of the person that I have as a person wielding a staff, and the only people that like Blackstone has talked to in their whole life that wield a staff are usually people who are like wizards. So like literally Weldon Point's like Weldon Point staff is a whole like professor, like teachers at Astera, that type of thing. So it's kind of like They probably wield magic. We're gonna have to fight them, but we want to keep that in mind, lest they pull shenanigans and we're not, like, somewhat prepared for them.
Okay. Do we just
Let's
want to
go.
go in, or?
Well, for once, being stealthy might not be useful.
Can I make a scene?
We should
Throw them out of
probably
the
get
house?
close. We should probably we at least want to get close enough that they do not run prematurely, and outpace us in some way. Somewhat like a turkey, now that I think about it. But aside from that, I suppose we are here to make a scene.
Aurea goes in and pretends to be a singing telegram.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my ragtime gal. Singing telegram for you.
Oh no!
I quit. Like,
You did this.
I didn't do anything.
You did this.
No, I didn't.
This is your doing.
Nope. This is.
That's the step away from she's your friend. You deal with her. She's your friend.
Let me just say, this whole event of today's episode went a completely different direction than I had anticipated. So
You
it's
should have
fine.
known that we were gonna make friends with the sheep. You should know.
I knew that was going to happen. I didn't think this part was going to happen. So, okay. So what's your plan of action?
Dear audience, I should have lied about rolling that natural one, but I did not. You're welcome.
So do you want me to make a scene and then everyone else come from behind? I'll just come at the front door.
Well, if you want to go inside and make a scene, we can all try to catch them when they leave.
That's what I meant. We get in position and then I just go up front and try to get them to come out.
All right, if you decide to do that, please be careful. They may be wielding magics, and they are also, from what I can tell, desperate people. And while I have not seen as much of the world as I would like to, I do know that people in desperate situations tend to do very dangerous things.
Do my best, but I'll have all of you, so it'll be fine.
We love the famous last word segment of our shows.
Then if that's cool with everyone else, or we could do something else. I just thought.
No, I'm absolutely cool with it. Deodora, do you want to take the front door or the back door?
I mean, Deodora's not that stealthy, so she should probably just go to the front.
All right.
Okay.
Yes,
Is somebody else going to the back?
Enact the plan. The rest of the team, Cal
the rest
and
of the
Toby
team will go to the back.
and
Oh,
Blackstone.
okay.
All right.
Okay.
So for point of reference, what's happening? Because there's a lot of pieces moving.
Cal, Toby, Blackstone, back door.
Okay.
Or coming in from like the flanking from behind. Aurea will go in first, and then Deodora comes in like right behind.
Okay.
So it's a little bit staggered, so they don't quite see Deodora.
Sure.
Because I have 40 feet of movement, so I can move faster anyway.
Sure. And are you sneaking in, Aurea, or are you doing the show that you were?
I'm sneaking about 45 feet from the door.
Okay.
Landing, making a big commotion as I come towards the door.
Okay. All right.
Before
there are windows, right?
There are windows. Yeah.
Can I just have a quick rewind for one moment? Aurea, I do have a plan if you're interested.
Oh, what's that?
From where I'm hiding, as long as I can see people, I can speak to them telepathically. Would you like me to have you? Would you like to appear there and have me project your voice into their minds without you talking?
Oh! I have a better. Okay, this is what we could do. Or Deodora and I, we have a big coat put over Deodora and I, so it looks like we're a big, tall, scary thing. And then you do that.
Well,
And then at the door, they'll be very afraid.
I can do that, but if you're going to do that, you should probably catch Theodora before she gets to the front door. And I just like gesture at Theodora.
Yeah, Theodora's absolutely just walking towards the front door. Y'all are doing the head talking thing. You're taking way too fucking long.
It's fine, I can catch up.
We have other shit to do. She's about to go knock on the door.
Yeah, I guess I'll go make a scene and have Blackstone project it and make it louder.
Okay. All right. So you all split up to do your plans. Or you fly forward towards the door.
Sorry, one more clarification before we do this. How big was the chimney?
It's a long,
Oh my god.
long ass chimney.
Okay. I can't Santa Claus this, can I?
Probably not. You could certainly try, but
No, I don't have reduce yet.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Or you push forward, and you're getting ready to stomp and make a big noise, correct?
Hello! Hello! I need help! Anyone, please!
The door opens slowly, and you just see kind of slowly retracting this long, large, bony hand.
I grabbed a handful of mud before I ran. Help! Can I see in the door?
Yes.
Fairy fire.
Okay.
Into the room.
Okay. As soon as your spell starts to take place, it fizzles out as soon as it comes into the room.
That's fine. That means they had to use a thing to do that.
Do we have a new visitor for Madame Ursula? And that's where we're going to cut for today's episode.
I just want to say real quick, you could tell by the way she talks that her breath stank.
Oh, you know she stank.
You know she stank.
I was not anticipating y'all going this route, but here we are.
Okay, she killed my fairy. She killed my fairy fire, but that means she had to use a thing to kill it, which is a good thing.
Did she?
In my head, she did, and I'm still confident.
Sure.
And I'm gonna fly straight in there and flurry of blows her.
Sure. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that'll be fun to wait for 2 weeks to see. Fuck. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I love this group so much. I've missed y'all so much. Reminder, we will be off next week. It's gonna be my birthday and I'll be out of town. But we will be back here on Saturday, March 4th, for we'll have the whole group here, so it's bound to be even more interesting and intriguing as the chaos ensues. And we'll see what happens. But make sure to go check out Delta Green. Fair, if you want to plug your friends thing again.
Yes, Lone Pine is a text-based RPG through Discord. It's a horror-based game. There's events weekly. The mods are very scary and they will kill your characters. Do not test them. But it is a lot of fun. It's a murder mystery this season with cult influences. I will put a link if you want to put it in application. But yeah, you just come over and check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And go check out April's show.
The Misfits of Alceta.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on That's How We Roll. It's a tight 2-hour show, so it's a nice little time.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. We are going to get out of here, y'all. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today.
Oh, wait, I have one quick promo if I can just throw that in.
Yes, of course.
So, right, next Saturday, we'll be raising some money for Ko-fi.com/DND Jordan Lee, as it is both her birthday, and there may or may not be like a little goal over there. So if you decide to have a little luck and want to bring your enjoyable DM just a little bit of birthday joy next Saturday, and you have some extra coins, that's a good place for you to throw that. That's like ko-fi, not coffee, but kofi.com/DND Jordan Lee.
You can also support D&D Jordan Lee by subscribing to our Ampistrano Patreon, because, you know, she does put in a lot of hard work, and this ensures that she gets paid, and then the rest of us also get paid. But she also deserves to get paid, so if you want to check that out. And also, there are some goals, like, I mean, if we get to 15, I'll do a one-shot. If we get to 20 patrons, Fluffy will also do a one-shot. Ampistrano, that's what I called it. That's what it's going to be. But yeah, you should give Jordan money. Thanks.
Yeah, like get into it.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all so
Normalize giving Jordan money.
Normalize giving everybody who's a performer in TTRPGs money. But thank you.
Shut the fuck up, Jordan.
Give Jordan money. We're just gonna keep talking over and tell her give her money.
Valid. Oh look, here's the end credits. Thank you so much for today, y'all. As I'm quickly scrolling to find the end credits. Thank you all for today. We're gonna be heading over to Anorian, who's live now playing some, I believe, Fire Emblem Engage. So we'll be hang out over there. Go give this fantastic cast a follow, and we'll see you next time beyond the veil. Bye, everybody.
Bye.